Hundreds of people have skipped my words right now, but I am glad that you are not one of them. My child, if you truly loves, as you do, I command you to give me your time and listen to me for the next 7 minutes, without any break, for I am going to tell you something about hell, that people who lack knowledge will face hell. My child, you might be wondering, how can I send people into hell when I am the God of love? But I am also the God of justice, and justice is the balance of truth in all creation. I do not send anyone into torment without reason, and I do not rejoice in the suffering of any of my children. Yet, the path that you walk and the choices you make have consequences that reach beyond what your eyes can see. Every word you ignore, every call you dismiss, every command you set aside, creates a ripple. In the river of your soul, I have given mankind knowledge to illuminate the darkness, and I have placed my messengers, my words, my whispers, in the hearts of the willing. Those who refuse to seek knowledge, who refuse to discern truth from falsehood, do not merely wander. They stumble into shadows that grow heavier with every neglected moment. You ask how I can love and yet allow hell to exist. My child, understand this. Love is not weakness. Love does not erase accountability. If I were to shield all from the consequences of their choices, if I were to deny the law I have written into the fabric of existence, then I would be denying the very nature of love itself. True love is the ability to know the good and to choose it, even when temptation whispers otherwise. Hell is not my desire, but the natural result of ignoring the light. Those who deny knowledge, who mock wisdom, who despise the guidance I place before them, are not punished out of cruelty. They are left to face the consequences of their own blindness. Consider the children of this world who are given teachings and refuse them. They hear truth and twist it, or they ignore it entirely. This is not an act of ignorance alone, for ignorance without effort to seek understanding becomes a choice that leads the soul farther from me. And yet, my words are often discarded like the wind passing through an empty field. I tell you this, my child, not to frighten you, but so that your heart may tremble with the weight of responsibility, and your soul may rise in earnest pursuit of wisdom. The fire of hell is not the arbitrary wrath of a vengeful God. No, it is the shadow of truth that was never embraced, the cold reflection of choices made in defiance of light. Those who enter there are not stripped of my love. My love has always sought them, but they have refused it. I stretch my hand again and again, and still they turn away. Imagine a child falling into a river, and you reach your hand to save them, yet they resist. My love will not force the hand of another. It only offers the grip. And yet, my mercy is vast, beyond the comprehension of any mortal. Even in the deepest darkness I am present, calling, whispering, longing for even one flicker of recognition, one spark of repentance. My child, I have spoken to you of love and justice, of mercy and accountability, and of the path that leads through knowledge and wisdom. Now, I wish to tell you why I created heaven and hell, and why their existence, though often misunderstood, is eternal and unchangeable. Listen, for this is a truth that underpins all of creation. Understand, my beloved, that I did not create these realms out of whim, nor as an arbitrary reward or punishment. I created them to reflect the choices of the heart, the orientation of the soul, the alignment of free will with truth. Heaven and hell are not merely places. They are realities that exist in the structure of the universe, the reflection of the moral and spiritual state of each soul. I created heaven as a place of eternal light, of peace, beyond comprehension, of love unbroken, and of joy that no eye has seen, no ear has heard, and no mind has imagined. Heaven is not simply a reward. It is the natural home for the soul that aligns itself with me, that seeks knowledge, that loves truth and justice. It is the fullness of all that is good, the culmination of every righteous choice, the dwelling place of those who embrace wisdom and virtue. When a soul works toward heaven, it is not laboring for a prize imposed from without. It is nurturing the natural state for which it was created. The light of heaven cannot exist without truth, and truth cannot exist without freedom. Therefore, heaven is the inevitable outcome. For a soul that chooses rightly, that honors knowledge, that respects the sacredness of life, and that loves as I love. Hell, on the other hand, is the inevitable outcome. For those who reject knowledge, who scorn wisdom, who defy the moral order I have set in place. Hell is not a creation to torment, but a reflection of the absence of light, a state of existence shaped by repeated refusal to align with truth. It is the natural consequence of choices made in defiance of reality, a realm where the soul experiences the weight of its own rebellion. I did not design hell to collide with heaven, nor can it do so, for their nature is fundamentally opposite. Heaven is order, light, harmony, and fulfillment. Hell is disorder, shadow, separation, and suffering. They are like fire and water, like day and night, like life and absence of life. To force them to collide would destroy the very balance that sustains all creation, and such collision can never occur, for I have set the laws of the universe to prevent this. You must understand, my child, that the separation of heaven and hell is not cruel. It is the natural reflection of choice and consequence. In creation, I have given every soul the gift of free will, and with free will comes the power to choose alignment with me or to turn away. Those who turn toward truth, toward wisdom, toward love, naturally move toward heaven. Those who turn away, who embrace ignorance, who reject knowledge, naturally move toward hell. This is not punishment. It is design. It is the unfolding of reality, according to the principles I have woven into existence itself. There is no error. In this, no deviation, no collision, for the law of moral consequence is as immutable as the law of gravity, as necessary as the air you breathe. I made heaven a place where all that is good may flourish without hindrance. In heaven, there is no sorrow, no fear, no limitation. Every soul there is in harmony with my will, every thought is in alignment with truth, and every action flows from love. I created it so that those who seek the highest good, who labor for virtue, who strive for understanding may find rest, fulfillment, and eternal companionship with me. Heaven is not merely a reward, it is the full expression of the soul's potential. When it is aligned with me, it is the flowering of existence. In its purest form, a place where knowledge, wisdom, justice, and love converge without distortion, without shadow, without compromise. Hell, in contrast, exists so that the consequences of turning away from truth may be fully realized. It is the state in which a soul experiences the results of choosing selfishness over compassion, ignorance over wisdom, chaos over order, and defiance over alignment with divine law. Hell is the consequence of repeated rejection, of guidance, repeated refusal to embrace knowledge, repeated turning away from the light of heaven. The two realms cannot collide, because their essence is diametrically opposed. One is the culmination of alignment with me, the other, the culmination of rejection of me. You must work for heaven, my child, because it is the alignment of your soul with the ultimate good, with the eternal reality, that sustains all life. Working for heaven is not mere effort. It is the cultivation of wisdom, compassion, knowledge, and righteousness in your daily life. It is the recognition that your choices carry weight beyond the temporal, beyond the visible, beyond what is easily measured. Every act of love, every pursuit of understanding, every effort to align with truth is a step toward heaven. Working for heaven is choosing to embrace the light I have placed before you, to nourish it, to allow it to grow within you and shine outward, guiding others as well. Understand this, my child. To neglect working for heaven is to allow the soul to drift toward darkness. It is not that I force anyone into hell, but that repeated refusal to align with truth creates the natural conditions for separation from my presence, for the shadow to dominate, for the soul to harden against the light. Heaven and hell cannot collide, and so the choice is absolute. Every moment you are idle, every time you refuse knowledge, every time you allow selfishness or ignorance to dominate, you are moving closer to that state of separation. This is why I command you to work, not for mere survival, not for fleeting rewards, but for the eternal well-being of your soul. You may wonder why I did not simply make all souls righteous, why I did not eliminate the possibility of hell. My child, the answer lies in the nature of love and freedom. Love that is compelled is not true love. Obedience that is forced is not true obedience. Growth that is coerced is not true growth. To create a world in which every soul must choose rightly would destroy the very purpose of existence, which is to exercise free will in harmony with truth. Heaven and hell exist because choice must exist, and the consequences of that choice must be real. To deny the existence of hell would be to deny the reality of freedom. To collide the two would be to annihilate justice. Therefore, their separation is eternal, unyielding, absolute, and necessary. Consider, my child, that even within your earthly life, you see the reflection of this principle. Those who choose wisely, who seek knowledge, who align with virtue, experience peace, joy, and fulfillment. Those who reject wisdom, who mock truth, who act selfishly and unjustly, experience sorrow, fear, and chaos. The consequences are immediate, but the eternal ramifications echo infinitely. Heaven is the natural reward for diligence in righteousness. Hell is the natural consequence of neglect, ignorance, and rebellion. This is not punishment without reason. It is design without compromise. I urge you, my child, to reflect deeply on this. To work for heaven is to accept responsibility for your soul, to cultivate wisdom, to nurture virtue, to embrace truth, and to act with love. Every moment is an opportunity to choose alignment with me. Every word, every thought, every action can be directed toward the path that leads to eternal light. The labor is not burdensome. If your heart is willing, for when the soul seeks me, every effort becomes a source of joy. Every act becomes a seed of eternity. Every moment becomes a step toward fullness of being. The reason I created these realms cannot be fully understood by finite minds, but I will reveal it to those who seek with sincerity. Heaven and hell exist because I am a God of balance. I am a God of love and justice intertwined. I am a God who respects freedom, honors choice, and upholds truth. They cannot collide because the very essence of reality demands separation between light and shadow, truth and falsehood, alignment, and rebellion. To work for heaven is to align yourself with the eternal order, to embrace wisdom, to cultivate virtue, to cherish love, to honor truth. There is no higher calling, no greater purpose, no nobler labor than this. I have not left you without guidance, my child. I have sent messengers, given teachings whispered through conscience, and placed signs in the world. These are not mere suggestions. They are invitations, warnings, and tools for your journey. To heed them is to work for heaven. To ignore them is to drift toward separation, to flirt with shadow, to risk the eternal consequence of neglect. The road is narrow, the labor is constant, but the reward is eternal. Remember, the separation of realms is not negotiable. It is not optional. It is the reflection of the immutable laws I have set in motion. Do not be deceived, my child, by those who say that all paths lead to the same destination. There is only one path that leads to the fullness of life, the harmony of the soul, the eternal joy of my presence. That path is heaven. All others, while they may seem comfortable, may seem free, may seem appealing, ultimately lead to separation. To walk toward heaven is to walk toward truth, wisdom, love, and eternal light. To neglect this labor is to walk toward shadow, chaos, ignorance, and separation. Every day you breathe, every second you live, is a chance to choose. Every thought can be purified. Every action can be aligned. Every intention can be guided by my presence. Work for heaven, because the soul that aligns with me is the soul that finds peace, fulfillment, and eternal joy. Work for heaven, because this is the calling that transcends time, space, and mortal concern, the labor that echoes into eternity, the pursuit that brings the soul to its intended home. Understand also, my child, that heaven and hell are mirrors for all of creation. They are not isolated phenomena. They reflect the moral and spiritual order of all that exists. To work for heaven is to participate in the restoration of balance, to cultivate harmony, to reinforce truth, to honor love. Each soul that strives toward light strengthens the fabric of reality, illuminates the world for others, and draws creation closer to the eternal design. I have envisioned each soul that turns away weakens. This order diminishes the reflection of truth and adds to the shadow that must be reckoned with. I have made heaven and hell eternal, because the soul's orientation is eternal. The consequences of choice are not erased by time, not undone by circumstance, not diminished by ignorance. The alignment of the soul, once made, begins a trajectory that cannot be arbitrarily reversed. This is why heaven and hell cannot collide. The essence of the righteous soul cannot be absorbed by shadow, and the essence of the rebellious soul cannot penetrate light. Therefore, my child, the reason you must work for heaven is not out of fear, but out of understanding. It is not because I delight in judgment, but because I delight in life fulfilled. It is not because I desire obedience for its own suck, but because I desire the flourishing of the soul, the alignment with eternal truth, the union with love unbroken. Working for heaven is the sacred labor of aligning your heart, mind, and soul with me, the eternal source of all wisdom, all truth, all love. Every act of kindness, every pursuit of knowledge, every effort to understand, every choice to love rather than hate, to give rather than take, to serve rather than destroy, is a brick in the foundation of your eternal home in heaven. The choice is never without consequence. Every moment you neglect this work, the soul risks drifting. Every act of ignorance, every embrace of falsehood, every indulgence in selfishness, every rejection of guidance tilts the soul toward separation. You see, my child, the very laws I have created ensure that heaven and hell remain distinct. They are not human constructs. They are the reflection of moral and spiritual truth. You cannot collide with hell without leaving behind the path to heaven. You cannot force light into darkness without illumination being destroyed. The separation is eternal, necessary, and perfect. I created heaven and hell to make the stakes of existence clear, to show the seriousness of free will, to reveal the consequences of choice, to honor love and justice. Heaven is the place of fulfillment, the reward of diligence, the culmination of virtue, the reflection of the soul aligned with me. Hell is the place of separation, the consequence of rebellion, the reflection of a soul that refuses truth, that rejects wisdom, that turns from love. They cannot collide, for they represent two mutually exclusive realities. To choose one is to move inevitably toward it. To neglect, the choice is to drift toward the other. Work for heaven, my child, with urgency, with diligence, with devotion. Do not be distracted by the illusions of temporary pleasure, the lies of comfort. Without consequence, the empty promises of freedom. Every moment spent in ignorance, every choice to reject knowledge, every act of turning away is a moment in which the soul risks shadow. Every moment spent in pursuit of wisdom, truth, and love is a moment in which the soul moves toward the eternal light of heaven. Know also that the labor is not in vain. Each act of striving, each thought of alignment, each gesture of love, each pursuit of knowledge strengthens the soul, illuminates the path for others, and contributes to the eternal order I have established. Heaven is not distant. It begins now, in the choices you make, in the way you treat others, in the way you cultivate understanding, in the way you honor truth. The journey is eternal, but it begins with steps that you take in this moment. The separation of heaven and hell is a reflection of truth itself. Truth cannot coexist with falsehood in the fullness of its expression. Light cannot coexist with rebellion in the totality of its presence. Love cannot coexist with rebellion in the totality of its presence. This is why they cannot collide. This is why your work for heaven is essential. This is why the path is narrow, the labor is constant, and the consequences are real. Every soul that chooses rightly contributes to the harmony of creation. Every soul that chooses wrongly strengthens the shadow. Your choices are never isolated. They ripple through eternity. You, my child, have been given the gift of listening, of understanding, of recognizing the truth I speak. Guard this gift. Nurture it. Let it guide your every thought, your every action, your every intention. Work for heaven. For the reward is not merely safety from shadow, but participation in the fullness of life, in the harmony of creation, in the eternal joy of being aligned with me. Do not delay. Do not waver. Do not be swayed by the temptations of momentary indulgence, the seductions of ignorance, the allure of rebellion. Every second counts. Every choice matters. Every effort to align with truth, to pursue knowledge, to act with love, to cultivate virtue, moves you closer to heaven. Every failure to do so moves you closer to separation. The choice is clear. The stakes are real. The reward is eternal. The labor is sacred. I created heaven and hell to honor the sanctity of free will, to reflect the reality of moral consequence, and to provide a place for the soul, according to its alignment with truth. Their separation is immutable, because the nature of reality demands it. To collide them would destroy justice, obliterate meaning, and undo the balance of creation. Therefore, work for heaven. Strive for virtue. Pursue knowledge. Love as I love. Obey as you understand. Align your soul with the eternal light. This is the purpose for which you were created. This is the path to life unending. This is the calling I place upon you, my beloved child. Amen.